Okay, the moderator for this session is the person I just spoke with. I just called rather, Mr. Onibokun. Am I right? Onibokun.
Hello, everyone.
Yeah. All right. I hand you over to Mr. Legal Ninja.
Thank you very much. Just for record purposes, the surname is pronounced Onibokun.
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 Yeah.
Don't mind me, I'm an Edo boy.
No, that's great.
It's just an Ijebu girl that I married that is teaching me Yoruba. All right, I'm sorry once again for this.
I heard she's here, so thank you so much for teaching me a little bit of Yoruba. Well, everyone, it's such a pleasure to be here, and I've had the opportunity to learn so much thus far. So if you also feel it's been great and you've learned so much, can you please give a round of applause to the organizers of the event? Wonderful. Thank you so much, Busola. And it's also nice to be here to moderate this event with my fellow panelists. Most of them, all of them I know but one, and it's a pleasure to meet you, ma'am. This is actually my first time meeting you. But I know all of them, and I know the amazing work that they do. So I'm just glad to be here to moderate this event. Now, we're here to talk about social media and how you can use it to the benefit of your legal practice. This eminent, distinguished guest here have continued to use social media to boost their presence online and also to share their expertise with the online community. I hope we'll be able to learn so much from them today, because even I am looking forward to learning as much as I can from them. So without further ado, I have a long list of questions. I was thinking we could take it round, but because that might take too much time, I think I'll just direct questions at certain people. So now, we know social media is not just a place to show off what you have, but also a place to show off your thought leadership in the legal world. It can also be a crucial place to engage with potential clients. So this first question goes to Darren. So Darren, is the use of social media an effective business tool for marketing or law practice?
I would say, thank you for that question. I'd say from the perspective that social media creates awareness. So sometimes it is a way to project your practice because it gives that awareness, and people may even know they have certain legal rights. So from following you on social media and from the awareness that's created, the existence of certain rights could be created in the heart of clients, especially for aspects of law that are niche and novel. For instance, if we're talking about medical negligence, for instance, there are many people who suffer from medical negligence on a daily basis, but they don't even know they have rights that accrue from things that have happened to them. So I think social media is a powerful tool because it helps to disseminate that information and create the necessary awareness to people.
All right, wonderful. So you can use social media to share your expertise, especially if you're in a niche area of law that people are not well versed on. And they can learn from your expertise and also know what you do and be able to contact you whenever they have questions on that area of law. Okay, wonderful. This next question will go to Mr. Fola. So, the mediation lawyerist, what has been your experience using social media to market your services as a mediation expert?
Well, I think it has been pretty awesome because maybe we should just take it some steps backward and look at why I chose mediation and not arbitration. So I'll probably just use this question to kill maybe 3 or 4 birds with one stone. Now, I chose mediation because it was an emerging area. And I had a choice between mediation and arbitration. Well, I could have gone for arbitration, but I just figured, hey, we have a lot of people in arbitration. Arbitration is somewhat established. Okay, mediation. And there was something one of the speakers said, emerging areas. I like uncharted territories. I don't exactly like too much competition. So I like to set standards for competition. So that was one of the reasons why I went for mediation. Now, when I now infused that into what's it called, social media, I just basically looked at it from the angle of the fact that, look, people need information. So how do you now project that information to people And there, I just started disseminating information on mediation. Then I also had a problem too. I noticed that I was too legalistic. So I would come up with content. I would get someone who is far younger to break down that content into terminologies and a language people could understand. And there it is. And it's been an awesome experience. Awesome one.
Oh, wonderful. So I want to ask a follow-up question. It's been a wonderful experience. But we all know that the benefit of trying to boost our practice and let people know what we do is actually because we want to make money. So has social media actually attracted money?
Okay, now I'll backtrack again. I think this is where people get social media wrong. For me, social media is about conversion. If it is not making money, it is not making sense. But so most times you see people post and all that and everything. I have a target audience and I'm very, very strategic. I have 2 social media accounts. I have the Flow Rider. Those who follow me, I just post everything as the spirit leads. But I'm more strategic about the mediation lawyerist and I also have a target. Now, you see, this is also where we get it wrong. We just post. We don't have people that we focus on. Now, I'm going to go via the generational workforce. You know, we have the traditionalists, baby bloomers, Generation X. We have the Sentinels and the Millennials. My own target audience are the Millennials and the Sentinels. And I'll tell you why. They are very impatient. They know what they want. So when you meet with a millennial and you have and he has an issue, he wants to know 2 things in Naira and Kobo. So tell me, if I have this case, how long is it going to take in court? If you say 3, 4, 5 years, he'll sit back. Okay, fine. What is my return on investment and blah, 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 blah. So we tell them, you know what, why don't you just go down the route of mediation? It might not cost you that much. And that is it. So they know. You can't bamboozle them. You can't come up with all these funny things. They will just pick up their phone. Google is their friend. So, and if you ask me what the returns are, not bad. Because now look at it from this angle here. Last year, according to the Attorney General, 33,670 cases were resolved through mediation. Now, if you're very familiar with court practices, especially magistrate court, you know the bar list. You have like maybe 40, 45 cases on a bar list. Now, let's just do a calculation. Let's assume only with the magistrate court, the minimum any lawyer that knows his onions should charge for a magistrate court should be 200 to 50. Do you agree with me? Now, if you handle 100 cases per annum, 250 times 100 is what? 25 million. Not doing anything. When I say not doing anything, in the sense that at the most, 2 sessions, you're over. Now, you see the thing about it, it's a repeat business. Because out of those 100 satisfied clients, you have like 40 or 50 that will recommend you to somebody else. And it goes on and on and on, all from disseminating information. So I'm very, very strategic. I don't deal with the really old people because, you see, ego is there. Do you know who I am? Why should I settle? I'd rather have this case in court and whatnot. So, and before I finally, let me just say this. You see, I was having a discussion with Enitor not too long ago. I said, you see, we lawyers are focused on the big stuff. I want to go for the 1 million brief, 2 million, 3 million. I don't chase all those ones. So I calm down. I would rather go for a 250 brief that will earn me a 250 from 4 clients that will earn me 1 million naira at 2 sessions, and it ends there, than to go for the 5 million, 7 million, and I recycle it. So in a nutshell, it's been fantastic. Yeah, you know me now. If it's not making money, I will not be there.
Well, you know one thing about lawyers. They know how to say a lot without actually saying exactly what you ask them to say. I asked how much money has come in, although not in those direct terms, but he just told us it's good, you can make money, but anyway, I'll let you rest for now. And I'll direct my next question to the lady beside you. Now, he has told us how he has a niche market online that he engages with, that he creates his content for. So that shows that there must be some kind of strategy, right, when you want to create online content, especially for marketing your services. Please, can you share with us how lawyers, especially young ones who are not established firms, how can they create that strategy to put their work in front of the potential clients they want?
Thank you very much. First of all, I would like to, you still did not get my name also, so I would like to
I'm so sorry about
My
that.
name is actually Barinada. Alexander is my husband's name. So,
Barinada.
and I think his pronouns are spelled Barinada. So
B-A?
on Barinada.
And I think
Cindy
if you
Brooklyn.
ask him to come and spell for us, then he'll be able to tell us.
Okay, so on content marketing and strategy. First of all, let me just tell you that the reason why Busola invited me here today is because of my content. The reason why I got endorsed by Strive Masiyiwa is because of my content. Now, you've heard several people, a lot of the speakers I spoke earlier told you that it's not just about writing. You can be writing and nobody's engaging with you. So how do you develop strategies that will make sure that your contents are engaging, that will send people, in fact, this is how I like to put it, your content must always be sent on an errand. You have to send your content on an errand. They have to go and do something for you. So first of all, and this is the first strategy, what is the reason behind that post you're about to make? What do you want it to do for you? How do you want it to convert? What exactly is the... Because at the end of the day, trust me, I was at a conference on Sunday and they said, nobody is a nice person. In as much as we put our content, I get people coming to me to say, oh, Barinada, thank you for all that you do for entrepreneurs. Thank you for this, thank you for that. I know that I have something at the back of my mind, right? I want people who would come back to me to say, can you do this for me? And that's how it has worked. But if your contents do not go on an errand for you, they will come back empty-handed. And so how do you do that? Tell yourself, this is what I want. So, for example, I want, and in fact, I do this a lot. If I want 5 clients who I want to register, say companies for, limited, I know how to structure my content. I know the things I should say. I know the stories I should put in my content, to send you a message that, oh, I am yet to actually register my business. So I'm telling you things like your business could be stolen. The name you have already, currently, it could be used by someone else without you knowing. And when you're ready to register, this could happen. If you patronize touts, this is what could happen. And even when I want to the point of, I make sure that I don't just get you thin, I get you, I make sure that your company is filed with the, appropriate tax office. So all of this information, what is it doing? It is projecting me as somebody who actually knows what she's talking about. And because they are targeted at the right people, those people come back to you. So when you're writing, you're not just writing for writing's sake. You're writing because, 1, you want to project yourself as an expert. 2, because you want there is something you want actually out of that content that you're making. And 3, because you want to make money. Absolutely, you want to make money. So every time you put out a content, tell yourself, how do I want to? And as lawyers, it's very easy to sound really legalistic all the time, especially when we write. We think that if people hear us using big words and all of that, it projects us as professionals. Be as simple as possible and be strategic, even with the kind of words that you use. As a matter of fact, sometimes when I write, I tell a story, first of all, or I tell you this are the things I think you should do as a business owner. Then I go further to tell you a story in a language that you understand. And you see, as it is, even if you're a professor of medicine or you're an accountant, there are just some things, if you don't know, you don't know. And it's not because you're an illiterate, it's because you're not a lawyer. So your job is to break it down to them in the language that they would understand. So these are the tiny little bit, don't let me take all the time. I think I'll just stop here for now.
All right, thank you so very much. There's something very instructive that you said, which is you should send your content on an errand. That is, when you write that content and you put it out there, there should be some form of, should I say, box that you have to tick that, okay, what are the deliverables from this content? Who are the kinds of people that are going to read it? What kind of business people do I need to read it? That sort of thing. So because of that, I'm going to ask Tosi a follow-up question. Now, we know that we should send our content on an errand. But what tools are available to lawyers in order to be able to prepare this content and probably put it together. Not just social media, not just Facebook or Twitter or Instagram or LinkedIn, but what tools can one use to actually put this content together?
Thank you very much. So what tools do you need? First of all, is you first have to have a target audience. Who is this message meant for? Where are they? And then you go meet them. For example, I write for business owners. I write for entrepreneurs because I've discovered that a lot of entrepreneurs run into legal problems before they get a lawyer. And I want to change the narrative. I want it to be, you want to take a step, you talk to your lawyer first, and your lawyer advises you on the legal implications. And so I look at where these entrepreneurs are. Where are they? Now, how do you do this? There are quite a number of ways you could do this. You could get questions from different places. Now, you could start from questions that your friends ask you, non-lawyers. What was the last question a non-lawyer asked you? Like, yes, my son was still chatting with me that he wants to register a company, and so we had a discussion on that. Now, you could get questions from when you put up posts, people are going to ask you questions. That's another way of knowing what to put out. Now, you get questions from Google. Most times when you type a question, how to do this, you see it brings out the rest of the sentence. It means people have been asking that question. That's easy content for you to put up. So those are part of the tools that you can use to know how to deploy your content for the target audience that needs your services.
All right, great. So one thing I've really liked from what you just said, which I picked, which really got to me, was research. Meaning you can use your family and friends for research. Meaning you can even use Google for research, and you can use that all those research platforms as tools to put together your content. Now we've touched on making your sending your content on an errand. We have also touched on tools by which you can put your content together. I want to ask Faith now this question: how do we select, or how do we choose the best social media platform for us? Now, do we post on Facebook? Do we post on Instagram? Do we post on Twitter? Do we post on LinkedIn? Do we post on everything? Or do we just pick one and concentrate, one or two, and concentrate on them?
All right. What I do most times is to first of all try to determine the particular platform the clients I'm trying to get on. For instance, on a personal basis, I use LinkedIn first, followed by Twitter, followed by Instagram, and then finally I use Facebook. Now, like we've heard from most of the panelists before, they've told us that you have to communicate. You don't just put your content and start speaking legal grammar where your audience do not understand what you're talking about. For instance, let's say someone comes to ask you that, barrister, what's going on? I heard that the CJN has been sacked or something. And then you say, oh, section so of the Constitution was not followed, and then the acts of the president was authorized. Of course, I'm not going to understand what you're trying to talk about. So you have to make your content in such a simple way that they are also able to explain to someone else what you've been talking about. Then another way I use social media is to interact with other people I find online, interact with other people's content. If you put out your own content, you should also interact with the contents of others. Then also, I use social media to strengthen my online relationships, to be able to interact with those who have met online, mostly on LinkedIn. For instance, in 2017, when I was trying to find my feet in blockchain law, I knew that I wasn't going to find a law firm into blockchain in Nigeria. So what I did was to find a US lawyer on LinkedIn who was into blockchain. I then contacted her and told her that I would like to be her virtual paralegal. And then I told her she doesn't have to bother about paying me, that what I'm most interested in actually is learning more about blockchain. And actually, she eventually hired me. I was even paying me by the hour. So that's another part. Then another aspect I would like to mention is when you reach out to people on social media, you shouldn't reach out with the mindset of trying to get something from them. You should reach out to the mindset of offering value, of trying to help them, like we've heard a lot about today. You should reach out to the mindset of trying to give them a solution to the problem that they may have been encountering. So when you do all that, as you keep doing that consistently, you are able to have a top-of-mind awareness in the sense that when they think about referrals in your area, you are the first person that comes to mind because they know this person always posts content in this area, so this is the person I would like to introduce to.
Okay, that's really, really great. Thank you so much for that. I'm going to ask Darren one question about the ethics of social media for lawyers. But before I do that, I want to share an experience with why social media is important for you. Okay, so I've had a page that I've run for some time now. It's a law page. And what we basically do is educate people on the law. And the way you engage with people, even on social media, is very important. What you write, what you post, how you share it, how you brand yourself on social media as well is very important. For instance, if you're familiar with Twitter, you know that their blood, they hot. If you say something, before you know, two people have already given it to you back to back. You know, and are you the kind of lawyer that when they engage with you that way, you will just immediately bite back at them? Are you the one that will use curse words when you are engaging people online? Now, lawyers and non-lawyers pay attention to your engagements. They might not tell you, but they do. So, and you form an impression. They've not met you. They don't know if you're a nice person or if you're a mean person. So they have to judge you by what they can see. So each time you engage on social media, you form an impression in the minds of people. So it's very important that you put that in consideration. Secondly, how do you engage? As lawyers, we are trained to be very respectful. And when we engage with people, we're taught how to engage decently and not to use curse words or anything in that line. So there was one day I was coming back from church, and I remember I was driving into my house, and I just got a message, a DM on my Instagram, and someone just wrote, "Do you even have a law firm?" And truthfully, I felt insulted. Because I was like, after all these years, after all the content I'm pushing after all the time trying to brand myself, of course I have a law firm. Of course I'm looking for work. And I wanted to respond with the way I was feeling, but I held myself back and I just dropped my phone for like 5 minutes. Then I went back to my phone and I engaged the person. I was like, "Hello, good afternoon. Thank you so much for sending in your message. Yes, I do have a law firm." And I put the link to the site. I even put the personal handles for the law firm. And the person was like, "Okay, that's great. Can you come to our office tomorrow?" And I was like, "Where is the office?" And apparently, I won't tell you the name of the company, but I was speaking to the head of legal of one of the biggest companies, one of the biggest entertainment companies in Nigeria. So when you're on social media, you might not see their face, you might not see their names, and you might want to engage with them. So it's always very important that you are well branded, well composed as a practitioner. And this is what is going to lead to my follow-up question to Darren. Darren, what are the ethical standards for lawyers on social media? And what are the ethical challenges as well?
Okay, before going into the ethics of the profession, I just want to share, there was somebody who sat on the panel before us that when I started posting on social media, called me and said, "I think you're breaching RPC." And I was actually in the car, and it caught me by surprise. And I was like, "I'm not breaching RPC. I think RPC should be amended, really." And then she said, "Okay, can we have lunch sometime? Can we talk?" And today she's like my mentor, because eventually she said, "You're doing an amazing job." So I think in terms of law has evolved, law has moved, and I think that we're not doing anything wrong. We're just simply doing what the old people did in a modern way that's understandable and approachable to people. That's making things easier for people to understand, because there's something that people always say. I don't know if other people experience this. We're all lawyers in the house, but everywhere we go, they keep telling us, lawyers and your big grammar. So why must we make things complicated? I think we make things a lot more complicated, and that's why the law has evolved, and that's why we should be looking at international firms that are coming to Nigeria. So why would we be talking about rules of professional conduct when international firms are advertising on buses?
Even banks now.
Yes, they're advertising on buses. So, and it's not like I'm standing in your door and cold calling you and saying, you must do this, you need, that's not what I'm doing. But if we're doing it with having the aspects of, okay, this is a learned profession and this is a profession, like what you said just now, that even when you're in social media, you should understand that that's your brand and that's what you want to project as a professional. Because first and foremost, apart from the fact that you're not an entertainer on social media, you are still a lawyer, and you still have that reputation of the profession to protect. And especially for us that are on social media, there are a number of people looking at us. So I think in terms of professional ethics, we should still do things ethically, which we still know the rules of the business in terms of if you're dealing with clients. For me, I work in a law firm where we still do a lot of things ethically. So if you're projecting that brand, what brand? You're still projecting the legal brand, so you still have to be aware of the rules. But in terms of advertising, I think it's moved a step further, because we're only just doing it because social media provides an enabling foundation and an enabling platform to do that. But it's also important for us to realize that people are watching. For those of us who are on social media, we don't realize it, but we're mentors to people. There was a day I was driving out of my gate and then somebody just shouted in black and white, and I was like, from where? And it was from the house opposite. So in the fact that you are there, you're out there, you need to still protect that brand and understand what the law is and what your profession demands of you, and still have that in mind. So I think that pretty much answers it. But if we're still looking back and saying, oh, what we're doing, we should step down on what we're doing and not advertise. Like I said, she called me and she said, look, I think you're advertising and you're breaching RPC. I said, I'm not breaching RPC. RPC should be thrown away.
Thrown away. Okay, that's cool. In the spirit of still sharing experiences, so over the weekend, I put out a tweet that was a little bit controversial. Some people liked it, some didn't like it, and it spoke to an issue that bordered on governance. So someone now sent me a tweet and wrote, because in my DP on Twitter, it's called an avatar, I'm wearing a suit and a tie. So the person wrote, people where they wear suit for Twitter self, then they stupid gone. When I read it, I was like, wow. I now responded and I said, but that's stupid expensive, because that suit costs. And the guy saw it, I responded, he was like, your stupidity is A grade. Then I responded again, I said, I know, right? Then the guy that responded, he said, bros, no vex. You are not stupid. I was just playing. And funny enough, the two of us are friends now. That is just, that particular point just borders on engagement on social media. They will come at you, but as a lawyer, because as a lawyer, I cannot be seen to be engaging with people and exchanging words. He's calling me stupid, and I'll be like, no, you too, you're stupid. No, I cannot do that. He can do it. He is not a practitioner. He is not taught to be prim and proper, but I am. So it's very important that we take that point. Now, I want to say something else in regard to ethics as well. You see content that someone else has hustled to put together, and you now just take it and convert it to your own without putting the person's name there as a point of reference. That is actually very wrong. If you've been fond of doing it, I will ask you not to do it anymore. There is nothing wrong in showing people that you are sharing content from other people. You don't know all the law, so you are not even expected to know all the law and be the one to write everything. And when you share content from others, for instance, now on our page, we share content from his page, we share content from almost everybody's pages here. And we are fine with that because we understand that we don't have to be the one to know all the law. Our position is just to ensure that many people learn the law and they learn as much as they can through our page. So naturally, we cannot be the ones to write everything. That is very important. So my last question, I would like everybody on the panel to respond to it. Everybody is creating content now. I remember when I started the Legal Niger blog, we were actually the first online legal education platform. There was no one there. That was because I wanted to solve a problem. I realized nobody is teaching people the law. They needed to know. So I started the blog, and now so many people are now creating content. So, and someone said in one of the other panels that writing content is just like throwing water into the sea. So much content. So how do you make your own content stand out as a legal practitioner? I would like everyone to just attempt, and we'll take questions from the crowd. You can start from anywhere. Maybe you can start. Maybe she can start.
Ladies first. Ladies first, as usual.
For me, I think it's your why. Why are you there? For me, that's the answer. And for me, being on social media is just to build my personal brand. And I'm happy doing that because it has converted into a lot of things for me. So I don't see it as, I'm not out there looking for clients, I'm not out there looking for customers. So for people looking for money, fine. But I'm building my personal brand, and it helps a lot. Like, for instance, right now I'm doing a number of applications, and I put links to my social media platform on those applications, and it helps. And so that for me propels me, and so I don't see it as just throwing content away. So I think it's for you, it should be the why and what brand you want to create. And I'm very, very strong on my personal brand, and that is what I am doing. Like I said earlier, I'm a senior associate in a law firm, and my personal brand has helped me get the job, has helped me in the job as well. So I think it's what you're looking for, and that driving force will keep you there and keep you in the minds and hearts of what you're doing. For me, I think that's the best way to put it.
For me, I think three things can make one's content stand out. The first is being relevant. That means whatever content you're putting out should be in the area you want people to know you for. Then the second should be omnipresent. When I mean omnipresent, I mean your content should be consistent. Don't come today and the next time the content comes from you is in 3 years' time. No, but when you're consistent, you keep allowing people know that you are into this area. Then the third part that I think can make one's content stand out is by making sure your content is interesting, like I've mentioned before. Your content should be able to communicate in simple terms what you are trying to talk about.
Okay, so I'll just give a little background to why I started writing on social media. It was 2016, and then when I got to Instagram for the first time, I saw this lady, Niger Brand Chic. She talks about selling on social media, and she made it look so easy. And I thought to myself, maybe I should even start selling something just to try this thing out. But I was divinely inspired to talk about law. So when I started, I was talking about everything. I was working in a litigation law firm, and most of the cases that came in, I knew that 90% of them could have been avoided if they got legal guidance at the right time. And so basically that was why I started writing. It was January 2017 I started my law practice, and somehow I would say I have now changed my why. Beyond the brand awareness, it was for conversion. And of course, it's been very helpful. And most importantly, what gingers me most is that people come to my DM and tell me, oh, this thing you posted, I never knew it before. For me, it's like, okay, what I'm doing is making sense, because basically I want people to be aware. Before they even know that they need our services, they have to know first that this is something that I need before they can use your services. So I would say that in creating content, in using social media, you should have a why, just like Darren said and Faith said. You should have a reason why you're creating the content. You have to make it relatable. I like stories a lot. My favorite part of reading law textbooks are cases. They're more interesting than just abstract text in long blocks. I like stories, so people can relate to stories. They understand what you're talking about. It resonates with them. So, and I would also say as a third point that if you want to start using digital marketing for your services, you should Google digital training. Is that it? Just Google digital skills training. There's a free training that you can undergo. It will help you a lot when you start, so that right from the word go, you know what you want to use your social media for. Thank you.
Clap well if you want to clap now.
Okay, so some of the things that make my content stand out. I am very creative when it comes to content writing. And now there are different ways that you can actually structure your content. I mean, I keep saying it. I keep talking about sending your content on an errand. For example, in December, I started in January this year, 7th actually, I started a 10-day video series where I was talking about a particular aspect of corporate law. And if you know that videos convert a lot.
Yeah.
Sometimes people don't want to read, they're tired of reading. So you can, if you're going to start out or if you're already doing that, you can consider doing videos. They convert a whole lot because there is a way people understand something when they hear you talk about it than when they read it. If you're not there, you'd have to explain. You cannot be responsible for how they understand what you have written, but if you're talking about it, you can be sure that they'll follow your thought pattern and they understand what you're saying. So one of the ways I've been able to distinguish my content and make it really interesting for people, like someone mentioned, is through videos. And I make the videos quite short, so you don't get bored or complain about your data. And another way to really make your content really stand out is to imbibe simple things like paragraphing your content. Now, I see some people who come on social media to write a whole long, like really long, no paragraphs, nothing. So you're just tired. I personally don't read contents like that. But if you're able to break every point of your content into paragraphs, people are able to follow you. And no matter how long it is, you can be sure that they are reading it because from the comments and reactions, you actually know that they read through the content. And another thing that you can also do to really make your post or your content stand out is to make use of pictures. Pictures that tell the story that you want them to hear. So I had to learn how to use Canva because I always want all my content, my articles come with a particular picture, either telling you the take-home point or showing you a picture that really depicts what I want you to learn. Initially, before I learned how to use Canva, I was always making sure that I have professional-looking photos, or I would go to, what's that free site for getting pictures now? Pixabay. Yeah, I would go to Pixabay to get free photos, and you have to be careful when you're using images. Don't use an image that is copyrighted, otherwise they would come for you. So all of these things are the things that I've been able to put into my content to make it really stand out. Then I am very active in the DM. So when you comment on my post, I tell you, okay, come to the DM, and then we take it up from there. Truly, like she said, you need to identify your why. Why are you there? If a lot of people would think that you're on social media to waste your time, like, oh, this guy is always writing, what's she talking about? But I know what happens afterwards. So you need to understand why you're doing what you're doing. Why are you posting? Why are you And content creation goes beyond you creating your own posts. Like you talked about engagement. In fact, one of the ways to remain top of mind, because when you're in the comment section, especially, and I'll tell you this is how, that's how I got endorsed by Strive Masiyiwa, because I was active even in the comment section. So it goes beyond you creating your own content. It also includes you being very active, not just being a lazy commenter. It includes you being a very intelligent contributor in the comment section. So all of these things, and then of course shooting your shot. I don't know if you have noticed, but I've done that severally today. So those are the ways that I use to make my content creative, stand out, and then give me the results that I want.
Okay, when it comes to my content, I do what's called a little bit of subliminal, I don't know what I got that word right, advertising, in a sense that I project mediation in a very, very beautiful light. If I package mediation for you, the branding, I have a T-shirt for mediation, I have a face cap for demediation and all that. But it's essentially premised on three things. Now, I just look at litigation. Okay, I say, okay, fine. Litigation, you have delay, you have congestion. Then we all know what is happening with the judiciary right now. Yeah. So I post so much in content on those, then I now leave you to choose. So most times when I write, it's always to the fact that it's tuned more towards projecting mediation in a beautiful way, making you understand that, look, you know what, with mediation, you don't need to spend too much in court. You can do this, you can do that. Then when I now talk about litigation, I just talk about litigation as it is. Then I now leave you to choose. But at the end of the day, like I always say, the end game is conversion. If what you are doing is not converting, then what are we talking about? So that's the end game. It has to convert to something. Thank you.
Yes, that is a very, very valid point from Fola and Barinada, which I'll just like other three guests to just touch on. Conversion, which is the most important part. You don't just want to create your content and just put it out there. You want it to come back when you send it on an errand. You want it to come back with clients. You want it to come back with job opportunities for you. So please, how do you convert successfully from social media?
I'm not sure I'm the best person to answer that question, because without social media, I'm a converter. So I think social media just helps it, because I'm somebody who goes for what I want. So I think social media just provides an environment and gives me a huger space. But I think for me, personally, I go for what I want. So even on social media, I still go for what I want. So I think it's still about knowing your why and following your why. And that's what I want to really say, because there are some people who are on social media that are just following the bandwagon. Are you following the bandwagon because people are there on social media and you want to just be there? Or do you know why you are there and you following through on the reason you are there? Because that is really, really important. And I just want to summarize by saying that social media is an enabling environment, true, but still develop your interpersonal skills, because beyond the social media brand, they call you for speaking engagements. They want to be sure you still know what you're doing and you're still able to connect. And I want to just emphasize something by summarizing that social media is a community, and we should leverage on that community and use that community both to mentor and to get people that you would be mentees to. So even within the social media space, I know Fola does that a lot. He comes out pulling people to intern, because if you've bothered to grind so much to learn a particular area of law, then I think it behoves on you to give back. So I think that that's also an important thing to say.
Wonderful, thank you so much. How can we convert successfully from social media to real-time clients? How do we convert in the sense that, well, maybe Tosin can take it. Tosin can take it, then we'll go back to Faith.
Okay, so conversion depends on what you want. For example, someone might just want brand awareness, you might want sales. So basically, I would say that conversion has to getting clients. Social media is a good place to showcase yourself, showcase what you want, so people see you as a thought leader. And that's why someone who has never met you before would send a DM and say, oh, I need your services, and I know I'm in good hands. And this person, I haven't even met the person. So it's of course, it's from the content I've been putting out that makes the person think, okay, I think this person can help my business. This person can do what she claims to say she can do. So yes, social media can help in closing sales if that is what you want. And just like the first panel that we had, we were told about sales tips. These are part of the things we have to learn, because apart from putting out content, getting leads, how do you close them? How do they become your clients, and how do they become repeat clients? How do you get referrals? So these are skills that we would need to learn in order to close sales. We can't finish everything here, and I do not know everything. So we keep learning, but the most important thing is you know what you want and how to get it.
Yeah, thank you. Before we
thank
proceed,
you. Sorry, but our last two speakers are very passionate about
just
that.
want to do this. They say in Africa that we should give honor to whom it's due. Africa is everywhere. I understand that the father of the convener of the conference is about to leave. He's been seated here here watching his daughter do amazing things. So it would be wrong if everybody do not see the father of the convener, Mr. Oladele Ajala, and and her uncle, Mr. Olubenga Ajala, who happen to be lawyers as well. Then our mom's sister is also here. Mrs. Yakubu is here too. Where's Mrs. Yakubu? Thank you. Thank you, Daddy, for raising such a brave and bold daughter. Thank you so much. All right. Thank you.